What's up, everybody? This is Jude from Section 122 on ArgosEndzone.com. It's time for Week 18 action as the Argos host the Ticats for the second time down at Rogers Center this year. Before we get into that, though, let's take a look at what happened last week. Coming off the big emotional win from the previous week against Hamilton, the Argos ended up feeling a bit of a letdown there against Montreal. A game that even Scott Milanovic said was not a must-win because they still get one more game against them. You saw an Argos team that just couldn't get emotionally into it after everything they put into the Hamilton game the week before. The defense played well in terms of being a bend, not break type of defense, allowing very few touchdowns, but the offense just couldn't click as the Argos were not able to reach the end zone on the offensive side. The possession game was definitely won by the Montreal Alouettes as the Argos were constantly facing a long field, and Montreal also won the turnover battle. More often than not, you're going to find whoever wins the turnover battle wins the game, and the Argos, I believe, they turned the ball over 3 times, including that interception to end the game. So here's hoping that they've had that down week and then get back up again because, let's face it, we're into must-win territory again. The Hamilton Ticats travel down the QEW for the second time in 3 weeks to take on the Argos at Rogers Center. This is the rubber match, as it's the third game between the two teams. The home team has won each previous game, and this will take a huge step into seeing who's going to win the CFL East. If Toronto is going to be successful, you've got to see them incorporate the run game more to balance off their passing attack. If the Hamilton Ticat defensive line can just tee off on Ricky Ray like they did in the first half of the previous matchup, it's going to be a very long day for that Argos offense. They're going to have to mix in some running plays with Steve Slayton. I don't know if Curtis Steele is healthy for this week yet or not, but that would be a huge blow as well to lose Steele in the backfield. But they got to get those running games in, a couple of slants and reverses, something that's going to take advantage of that aggressive Hamilton defense. When Hamilton is on offense, you've got, of course, got to count for Zach Collaros, who had a fantastic game against the Argos last time they faced each other there at Rogers Center. He was just shining 90% on passing completion, had the long touchdown run. Speaking of running, the Ticats signed Nick Grimsby there this week. There's no word as of this recording whether he's going to be ready to play this week or not, but that's another weapon the Argos may have to account for. They did a much better job in the second half. Again, we talked about the second half, that entire game previous. But what you're going to need is that Argos defense, as I said, that bend, not break, a spy in the backfield to make sure that Collaros does not try to beat you with his legs. Andy Fantuz is inactive for this game, which is a bonus for the Argos. So that's one less weapon for Collaros to hit. But at the same time, he is just such a fantastic player who's on the verge of becoming the premier quarterback in this league that you, regardless of who's out there catching the ball, you've got to be aware of him, keep pressure on him at all times. And again, a kicking matchup, it's 1-1A with Swayze Waters for the Argos and Justin Medlock for Hamilton. So that field position could be a huge factor again this week. And as I said previously, the turnovers. The Argos have got to hang on to the ball. When they've got it, they've got to keep it. Ricky Ray did throw that late interception, but they're pressing, trying to get within distance, try to close that gap, and try to go for the win. So you can understand that mistake there. But in terms of the Curtis Steele fumble and the Chad Owens fumble, you've got to hang on to the ball, or if the Argos turn the ball over, this will be over really quickly. Again, this one's huge because they're facing Hamilton this week, Montreal next. Both are key rubber matches. If they can win both those games, they got a really good shot at winning the East. If they lose both those games, quite frankly, they're probably not going to make the playoffs. With the crossover factoring in, with the Western Conference being so much stronger, there's a really good chance that the BC Lions will be coming over to the East for the playoffs to take that number 3 playoff position. So the next 2 weeks are crucial. Focus, of course, on Hamilton. Never look beyond Hamilton, because regardless of where they stand in the ratings, it's always a competitive, nasty fight, and a heck of a battle on the field too. This week's fantasy pick, what we're talking about is a playoff atmosphere. So you're looking for those elite players that rise up in the big occasions. So that's why I'm looking at Ricky Ray as having a big game this week. He's leading the league in passing yardage comfortably, as well as passing touchdowns. He's thrown a lot more interceptions this year than he did in the year past, but I think the offensive line and the running backs have now got a better blocking scheme here later in the season to protect him a little bit better. Watch for Ray to put up some big numbers. Quite frankly, the Argos are going to win or lose based on Ricky Ray's right arm. So prediction time. If you do the math based on points for and against on the offense and defensive side up to this point in the season, they're very, very close in terms of their matchup, in terms of what they're going to score versus what they're going to allow, in that the math says this will be a 24-24 game. But based on that last game that they faced each other, where it was 30 plus for both, I'm hoping for that again, because that made for a really exciting game. So how about we add, let's say 7 points on both sides with a slight edge to the Argos, right? So let's go with a 32-31 win for the Argos this week. Why not? That'll wrap things up for us again this week. Hope you had some fun. Feel free to comment down below, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Don't worry, I'll just keep zipping in and out here. Game happens 4 o'clock Saturday down at Rogers Center. It'll be a playoff atmosphere. If you've never been to an Argos game, make this the one you want to go to, because there's going to be plenty of seats available, and since Hamilton is just down the road, and so close proximity-wise, there are going to be a ton of Ticat fans in the crowd, which bring the atmosphere up to that, like I said, that playoff caliber atmosphere, and the Argos fans are going to match it. I guarantee it. So it'll be a blast. You're going to have a really good time. You really got to come down. When you do come down, make sure you find one of the Argos cheerleaders and pick up this year's calendar, as the proceeds to that are going to help the ladies go out west for the 101st Grey Cup. 102nd Grey Cup. Yeah, sorry. 102nd Grey Cup out in BC. And this month, as I said before, is Kelly. Yeah, you definitely got to get this calendar. It's also got all the Argos games marked on it, so you won't miss any. So make sure you pick that up and tell them Jupe said hi. They'll probably say, who? So, Saturday, 4 o'clock, Rogers Center. Don't miss it. It's going to be a blast. Until next time, this is Jupe from Section 122. ArgosUnknown.com reminding you that we ride the rail and we ride it hard. Go Argos, go Toronto!